Hey, it's Phil the Cruise with Cruising with Phil. My next guest, my first guest for award for Miss
Miss
Vanessa Raponi. Nice to meet you.
meet you.
So far you are on this table, my God.
Yeah.
You can see me. I can hurt me focus. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
See, blue and purple.
Blue and purple.
I know your color. I
It's the dream.
color. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we keep joking that it's actually the third color. You can see the blue in the background.
Oh, okay.
So that's why our office blue kind of fit in perfectly.
That's so cool. So
Yeah.
how you doing? How's the campaign going?
It's been really, really well.
So
Thank you.
introduce yourself to the camera.
Yeah. So hi, my name is Vanessa Raponi. It's so nice to meet you all, and thanks Phil for having me.
You're welcome.
We started day one, May 1st. The first.
You reached May 1st?
Yeah,
Really?
first day of the campaign. Been prepping for several months before. This has been a lifelong dream of mine to run for council.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And the last few months have been going really well.
That's great. So let's talk about your background.
Yeah. So, the Sri Lankan side of my family came to Toronto in the 70s, and the Italian side came in the 50s.
Your dad's Italian?
Dad's Italian. That's where the Raponi part comes from. And, we had one side of the family coming for opportunity, the other side fleeing genocide, tale as old as time. Tale as old as time in Toronto for the immigrant community. And what I found that was really interesting with my story was that I was really able to take that kind of hardship of our upbringing and create a new future in life for myself. So I was able to become an engineer, become an engineering manager, work in...
Jumping ahead now.
Oh, sorry.
Just wants to promote us of all stuff. Yeah, I know. We'll get to that.
Yeah, but in terms of my background, I
got siblings?
Siblings, yeah. I've got 5 siblings, actually.
5? Oh,
yeah.
my God.
5 half-siblings, yeah.
Half-siblings, wow.
Yeah.
I saw one of the videos with the kids in it. That's your nephews?
Yes, those are some of my
so
nephews
cute.
and
Yeah.
nieces. They were so sweet. Yeah.
So in your background, you came here and your mom and dad met here?
So I was born in Toronto, and but my parents, my dad was actually the first sibling of the Italians to be born here.
Wow.
So my dad and I are actually born in the same hospital. But my mom came here when she was about, I think, 13.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So do you speak Italian?
Poco.
You cook Italian?
Well, yeah, I cook pasta and pizza. Who doesn't?
Okay, you better.
Yeah, but I have a biryani recipe.
You have biryani?
Yeah. Not on me.
You make biryani and I'm doing the interview.
I know. I'm sorry. Next
they know
time
my biryani love.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. We'll edit it. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So you grew up here. You went to school here in this ward?
No, I didn't go to school in this ward. So I've kind of lived all over Toronto. I always say I was born on the Danforth, grew up in Leaside, lived downtown, but really have settled in the Parkdale High Park community.
And how long have you been here in the community now?
So my family's been here my whole life. Like, my parents got married at the Old Mill. My grandparents were at Bloor and Lansdowne at the Tamil Co-op since I was a child. But I'm settled now at Bloor and Dundas.
That's great. So you went from high school to over here in Toronto?
So I was a part of the TDSB, yes, and then I went...
Tell me what the TDSB is.
The Toronto District School Board, so the public school education in Toronto, my whole childhood, and then I went to McMaster University for my degree in engineering and business.
Right from high school to university?
Yeah, right from high school.
So what made you go to be an engineer?
Great question. Engineering life is...
it's not easy. Yeah.
No, it definitely is not. I was one of those people who did succeed in the maths and sciences, and my mom always encouraged me to keep my options open in terms of different careers. There were no engineers in my world, so I actually learned more about it through like some friends and friends' parents and stuff like that. But I have absolutely no regrets. I think I learned so much about engineering is kind of quite misunderstood, and people really don't understand what engineers do, but we're truly behind the scenes of everything. Yes. Yeah. And engineers actually play a pretty large part in policy and politics that I think has been really impactful for me over the years. So really just kind of, taking that systems lens of thinking, the process mindset, that really was like my career and expertise over the last several years.
Wow.
And also being in management for a while, like I had the opportunity to do that kind of people leadership experience in the corporate space. And as I said, it was always my goal to eventually enter the political world.
Oh, really? From way back? You had that?
Oh, yeah. If you look at my journals...
You want to walk around a little council outfit, were you?
Yeah. When you look at like my journals from times...
Oh, you keep your journals? That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. I do the same thing. I love it.
Yeah, and you can see me being like engineering manager, mayor of Toronto, question mark.
Hey, you never know, right?
Yeah, one day. I'm sure it'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
but
You know
this
what?
is
That's
the
great. That's
beginning
great.
of the journey.
Yeah.
For sure.
So let's go back to your college. You started in 2014 in McMaster?
2012, yeah.
2012. Oh, 2012.
Yeah,
Okay.
McMaster for
That's in
engineering business.
that's in Hamilton,
In
right?
Hamilton, yeah.
Okay. And how long was the course?
So it's a 5-year dual degree in engineering and business, but I also did 28 months of full-time engineering work in Bombardier Aerospace, Pepsi. I lived in France briefly, did some nonprofit work
What
with...
did you do in France?
In France, I did an exchange program.
Yeah.
So
how long was the course to France?
I was there for 8 months.
8 months. Wow.
Yeah, so it was both school and work.
Did you apply for that?
Yeah, of
And
course.
you got
Yeah.
accepted, and that's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
How was that?
It was great.
You live in a residence in France?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, it was amazing. I learned
In Paris, France?
just south of Paris, so that was in Grenoble.
Oh, Grenoble, yeah, it's
yeah.
beautiful, yeah.
Oh, stunning. Yeah, I have a mountain tattoo now. 'Cause
Oh,
of
do you?
that time.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
nice there. Yeah. I've been there.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So my time at Mac was it was 6 years overall between the dual degree
Wow,
and the
6
co-ops.
years, eh?
Yeah, and so I don't regret it at all. I think having that opportunity to really, like, I grew so much. Like, you're 18 when you enter your baby, like,
Yeah.
being able to...
But go from high school to university, that's a big jump, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's no
100%.
guidance system or anything, like especially theses and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're all
So
on your
let's
own.
a little jump in that. In 2013, you started a movement.
Yes, I did. So when I was 19 years old, I identify as a queer woman of color, and I had kind of...
Is purple your color?
Good one. I like that. Purple is my color for what it's worth. Different color there. But yeah, I started, I was looking for a queer community, and back in 2013, like, the equity, diversity, inclusion space looked very different, especially within the engineering profession.
A lot of prejudice?
Yeah, prejudice, and also just no one was out. Like, there were 4,000 people in my undergrad program, and there were like a handful of people who were openly queer.
Yeah.
It was a very, boys club, old school, whatever you want to call it.
It's interesting you said that, the old boys club, because everyone that, you shouldn't judge by sexuality, just lack of knowledge, right?
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
100%. And so I, it started with that kind of like social club at
That small group and
McMaster.
all? Yeah.
Yeah, and as time went on over the next few
Sorry,
years,
how was that when you started? Like, what the reaction of other your peers and all that?
there was a lot of support. We were very intentional about making sure that we, followed the steps needed to create a proper organization and, get those stakeholder alignments, connect with different people.
And I believe you had 3 goals for that?
So at that time, it was truly just a social connection club. But you're right, there are 3 pillars of EngiQueers. So EngiQueers actually was a word used against me.
Pillars?
Yeah, I'll get there in 1 second.
I'm jumping the gun now.
No, you're good. EngiQueers is actually a word that was used against me as an insult. Someone was
Really?
like, "You effing EngiQueer," and I was like, "I'm gonna make an organization out of that."
Just a name like that? You know
Yeah,
what? I love it. I love it.
So
You turn a nasty word into a positive outreach for other people.
exactly,
Hey, you put that on your platform.
yeah.
That's not in there. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as time went on, our small group at McMaster, we started doing these systems of oppressions training. So I was educating people about classism, ableism, sexism, all these systems of oppression that impact the queer community and folks of all walks of life, and really taking that equity and diversity inclusion content to a provincial and national scale. And that's when EngiQueers, entered a new world, and we became a nationally incorporated nonprofit. And by that point, that's where the 3 pillars came in. We were now much broader than a
I
social.
think you said 30 countries involved?
No, 30 universities.
30 universities,
It's
sorry.
Canadian,
Yeah.
So 30
Wow.
universities in every province.
I'm surprised. Was this ever in the news? Did you ever get covered by media?
Yeah, so we've been around for a decade now.
Okay.
So yeah, CBC's covered us.
Okay.
There's I've been on the news many times over the years. There's all sorts of coverage. So our 3 pillars are social connection, education and advocacy, and professional development. And it really is just taking this group of underserved folks in the engineering community and really expanding their belonging into engineering, because engineers truly serve the world. There's such a broad spectrum of what engineers do, and we need more folks who look like me to know that they have a place for themselves in engineering. And that was why I stayed in engineering for so long. I wanted to get my professional engineering license. I wanted to become an engineering manager. That's why I spent a decade in engineering, because there are not enough folks who, come from my background there. And I really think that experience lends me quite well to this new chapter of my life, because it's that additional perspective that can be brought to
Did
council.
you get a lot of feedback from people getting you oppressed because of sexuality in the engineering department and all that?
Yeah, so over the years, as I said, we've now been around for 13 years since I started the McMaster chapter. Constantly, now that we're in 30 universities in every province, I'm constantly getting feedback about folks saying, they're alive today because of EngiQueers, and just the amount of isolation they have in maybe a small community in Saskatoon or a small community in PEI, northern BC. They now get to come together at the national conference we started, which has now over the last few years been in Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Vancouver, and now Winnipeg.
You have a conference every year?
We have a conference every year that I started 2023 because post-COVID was, it was a difficult
What's
time.
the turnout been like?
So we have, always over 25 universities. We raise $100,000 from over 25 sponsors
And
every
where's
year.
the money go to?
It goes to the conference to be able
that's
to
good.
fund it because it's
That's
a
great.
3-day national conference.
Wow. You have one coming up to Toronto?
So Toronto was the first one. Winnipeg is the one next year.
And when's that?
So it's end of January, early Feb.
Oh, that's
always.
great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, you know what? The media, like what you just said, I was surprised, covering the candidates, they say, well, this is, this candidate for Ward 4, she started EngiQueer. Something in history back, but that should be covered. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I know when City News did my interview, they did mention nonprofit founders. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
That's
folks have at least been acknowledging.
So you're quite the smart lady.
I try.
How do I know that? Because you got 3 awards. 3 awards!
3 awards, yeah.
Name all
I did.
3. I'm testing you.
Yeah, so
Just kidding you.
yeah, my big 3 were definitely the EngiQueers Canada Gold Medal Student Award.
That's the big one, right?
So yeah, one student in all of engineering in the whole country gets this award
Once a year?
once a year.
And how did you get that?
It was largely because of founding EngiQueers and the work that we had done.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
so
incredible.
that recognition was beyond.
Did you expect it?
I worked really hard to
Did you
get
put
it.
your name in for it? Or?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a whole nomination process.
Yeah.
So I had deans of many universities supporting me. I had,
recommend you and all that?
yeah, I had past presidents of the Professional Engineers of
So what was
Ontario.
the time difference between putting your name in and then finding you won?
It's probably like 4 months or something.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
So were you expecting to win? You're hoping to win? Or?
hoping to win for sure.
And
Yeah.
when you found out, how did you feel?
If it was like winning the Oscars, honestly,
Really?
it is the equivalent of the Oscars.
Is that why you have your speech over there?
It's basically the highest honor in
That's
the engineering
incredible.
profession. So
Wow.
it was.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Seriously,
I
honestly.
was very
We need more of
appreciative of
that.
it. Yeah, thank you.
Regardless of sexuality. Like
Yeah.
in the armed forces, we don't discriminate. We had women. I had women in charge of me, engineers, technicians, and we don't you're an outspoken career lady. We don't think like that.
Yeah.
But I wish they did in the civilian world a lot.
Oh,
So what's
totally.
the other 2 awards?
So the other 2 came after university. So the big one was from OSPE, the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers. They gave me the award for young volunteer professional, which was great. And that, eventually in turn led to OPO, which is the Ontario Professional Engineers Awards, awarded our organization the Achievement of the Year. So we were the first time ever that it was not an infrastructure project, that they chose the EngiQueers conference.
So you're
And-
presidents. You broke a barrier.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
totally did. Constantly breaking barriers,
Yeah.
glass ceilings and whatnot. And, the profession I went into, the work I did was in the toy engineering world.
Let's get into. Oh,
Yeah.
before I get into that, I want to ask you, what's the time difference between the 3 awards you got? In what time frame?
So the gold medal award was 2018. The OSPE one would have been like 2020 maybe. And then, because I remember getting it during COVID, so it must have been 2020. And then OPIA was 2023, I think.
So
Maybe 24.
Less than 4 years, you got all these awards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it was incredible to have been run a national organization for a decade. Like, we are really grateful for being able to make such systemic, lasting impact in the profession, and it's been incredible that we've gotten the recognition we have.
So let's get into the. I worked for a couple of companies. You worked for PepsiCo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
PepsiCo, Bombardier Aerospace, an affiliation of Engineers Without Borders
What did
called.
what did you do with PepsiCo?
At PepsiCo, I was an operations
I thought
intern.
you were the drink taster. The
Sorry.
taster. I thought you said the taster.
Yeah, you actually do have to do quality
Oh,
control.
really?
You do
Wow, I
taste
missed
it,
that
100%.
opportunity.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry to finish what I was saying.
Yeah.
The roles that I had, I worked at PepsiCo, worked at Bombardier, worked at Spin Master was the big thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a Canadian-founded children's entertainment company.
People don't realize that works. Yeah.
Yeah, so three gentlemen from Western University came out of school very young, and They're now the Spin Master's the 4th largest children's toy company in the world.
Wow.
So it's basically like Lego, Hasbro, Mattel, and Spin Master.
And you turned Rubik into recycling materials?
I did, yeah. So I
thought it was made, I thought it was almost made of
have
plastic.
it. Do you want me to bring a couple
No,
of
it's
them
not.
over? They're all over there.
But I thought it was originally made of plastic?
Yeah, so the Rubik's Cube is made out of ABS, a plastic material.
Yeah.
And so we've converted it to, there's one version that's 100% recycled plastic, and the others are 20% recycled now.
It's amazing. And even one of my favorites called Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, I was the engineer on the Etch-a-Sketch.
Are they still around? I haven't seen one in a long time.
Yeah, so the Etch-a-Sketch is actually one of Spin Master's highest selling toys to this day.
It is. I had it as a kid. Learn how to draw squares and lines and all that.
Mm.
Same kind of. So you made it all 90% recyclable, is that?
Yeah, so the work I did at Spin Master was I was a product development engineer for several years, and then I entered the engineering management space. So I was there 8 years total, and in that time I ran Spin Master's sustainability department, their committee. So we were working internationally across the whole organization in all of the different business units. And yeah, you've highlighted some of our key wins, which was the 100% recycled Rubik's Cube, wow. 86% recycled Etch-a-Sketch. We converted all the Paw Patrol main pups vehicles to.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah,
wow. That was in your campaign.
Yeah. So they're all over about 80% recycled plastic now. So
you're Paw Patrol control.
Yes, something like that. So I had the opportunity to, as the leader of that committee, and again making that kind of culture change. But it's a very similar story with both EngiQueers and the sustainability group. I had the honor of being the leader, the visionary, and the executioner. So one thing that's really unique about me is I'm not someone who only talks. I always walk the walk, and I see things through to the conclusion of implementation and drive those results. So we were able to implement 3 million pounds of plastic offset annually. Wow. So that's the equivalent of 185 people's lifetimes plastic production every single year.
That's amazing.
So
did they approach you, or did you make a concept to them about recycling?
So yeah, we did work for a full year to figure out what is that correct approach to what is the answer. You're making all these single-use plastic products at a global scale, in the scale of 100,000 units plus per SKU. You have thousands of units every year. I think people kind of always struggle to understand the scale and scope of manufacturing.
People forget that every toy has a concept, like a lot of testing. They have those places that test the kids up, toys and all that. Yeah,
focus groups. Yeah, we call it Spark Labs at Spin Master.
Is it it's only age limit, right?
Yeah. Hey, everyone's a big kid,
I want to play my Paw Patrol. I'm 34. Come on. It's amazing. That's great. So let's move on to you. By the way, I did my background check on you. You worked in France. So you didn't mention your platform. I didn't even want, but I heard that you've been propositioned to work elsewhere.
Sorry?
You've been propositioned to work elsewhere in the other parts of the countries. That's what I heard.
I'm not sure what you're referencing.
Well, you worked in France, so because you're recognized for what you've done. Mm-hmm. You're known around.
Yeah.
You are known. So I heard you've been, I don't know if you've been proposed about working in other countries besides Canada or whatever.
Oh, just I guess over the years, there's definitely been opportunities to go more global, but
my homework.
Yeah, but I made the decision to go
good.
local.
That's great. For sure. Wow. So let's talk about your platform. You got three
main pillars. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it's affordability, community, and safety. And the affordability piece is truly like the grounding of everything. It was the Daily Bread Food Bank statistics that 10% of Toronto is now accessing food banks, and that number's actually quadrupled in the last 5 years alone. So that was what really triggered me into this whole thing at the beginning. And I got the chance to work with Daily Bread for 2 months to run their Who's Hungry report of 2026. Yeah. So the reason affordability and what Daily Bread does from their policy and advocacy work is identify the root causes of food insecurity, which they say are three things. That's why I think
my platform. Right from here, food security is my biggest.
Food security, it's such a hot topic.
It's not talked enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think people, again, understand the scale and scope of how bad it is right now. So they say it's affordable housing, income supports, and decent work. Mm-hmm. And then, so that's really what that affordability pillar comes down to. It's really about how can we focus on making better policy from a systemic lens in the city to help address these, it's fundamentally the root causes of poverty, and something that I think impacts our ward pretty significantly, especially Parkdale. And we need representatives who are going to prioritize the types of changes that are needed in order to make this a priority. When I talk about community.
Oh, sorry. Go back to affordability.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's that part where you mentioned about going from shelters to proper housing. You mentioned that. I think that's really big what you said. Because it's done in other parts of the world. It's done in Los Angeles. Instead of having a shelter, they have actually apartment units in the building.
Yeah, permanent housing is what we need.
And that's what we need. Shelters are not the answer. I'm glad you put that in there.
Yeah, shelters to me are. I always say you need two things. You need the Band-Aid solution. You need to be able to act today, and that's why you've got food banks who are feeding people today.
That's not the solution either. No.
But you need the parallel of addressing that root cause for the long term. So you have to do both.
Yeah.
And that's why, of course you need shelters today. Yeah. You know, I know we're going to talk about my dad later, but homelessness is a serious issue in the city, and people need to be housed immediately. Yeah. But we also need fewer folks who are experiencing homelessness.
Well, I was just at McDonald's having lunch before I came in an hour and a half early, so I'll go get some.
Oh,
I read the gate there, right? I got a streetcar.
Yeah.
So, and I sat there, and there's like 3 people that came that are homeless, trying to use the bathroom.
Right.
2 people sitting there with mental conditions, and they're talking to themselves. And I sat there, you know what? This is what the community needs to change. Just a clear example.
I think
and I look at these people and I say, you know what? They can't be just left alone.
Of course, I think there's
I was thinking about your platform, what you said. Everybody matters, you know, and accountability. We need to be accountable to people out there, because we could be like that too, you know.
All of us could, 100%. I think
you know
people.
That. You know for sure, and I know for sure too, right? We've both been there, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, there you go on. Your
No,
communication,
it's okay.
the next one.
Community is the next one. Yeah. So when I had done this course that TMU offered, a continuous education course dedicated in homelessness. It's a topic.
You took those 2 courses before you became councillor, right?
Yes, local politics.
Jumping ahead here.
You
testing me, are you?
So the community piece, it's really that social isolation is actually one of the consistent roots of homelessness and risk factors.
Yeah. You said in your platform, 40% people are single people, right? Yeah.
40% of this ward is a single person household, which is shocking. And I lived that way for almost 2 years, and I think it's a really unique type of isolation that you can experience when you live alone. And so that for me, the vision is really, how do we bring people together? How do we make Toronto, you know, when I think of the city I grew up in, the diversity and smorgasbord and mosaic of different identities and cultures is the whole point of Toronto. And I think we've had a lot more tension between different communities, and there's been, frankly, a lot more like xenophobia and racism than
unnecessary.
And you see like Islamophobia, anti-Semitism.
Well, we both grew up in the city. Never saw any of this before.
Exactly.
Why now?
It never. And so, but I think, and that's why they're so tied to affordability. Folks are struggling to just make ends meet, put food on their table, feed their kids, pay for rent. And so when you're having such exhausting hardship every single day, folks in positions of power behind the scenes are having people point fingers at the wrong groups. We need, the issue is not your neighbor who's also struggling. The issue is the system. And we need to, that's why we need folks to come into the system and help be disruptive and challenge things and really make those policy changes.
I like what you mentioned about, I just did it my video blog based on your point about the interfaith, more involvement.
Interfaith.
So I just, in my video blog, I'm Catholic, so I just found out the Catholic churches will now only be renting their halls to church functions.
Okay.
Before you could rent it for debates and other things,
right.
It has to be church related meetings, a wedding or a memorial. If it's related to the church, or they'll have their own banquets or raising money. So now they excluded anything on the outside, which is sad. And I said in my video, I think more churches and mosques and or whatever all have to be involved in the community. I don't know if you can force them, but you know, since they're there, they're empty units, they want to make money, but they need to be, in the past, right?
Yeah.
We had that before, during the COVID. Look at the COVID.
Oh, yeah.
We had a lot of big Muslim community. People forget that. The Muslim community stepped up and give free meals to officers, social workers, TTC drivers, all the feel-good videos. We're forgetting all that, right?
Well, and I think that's
Sri Lankan community too, sorry. Big time, I saw that.
100%. And I think that's why, the reason I have that interfaith connection is that I'm very passionate about religious freedom. I think it's very important that all places of worship have the freedom to express themselves, to practice their religion safely in peace and whatnot. But the reason I say interfaith in particular is that I think, again, just reinforcing that we're more similar than we are different. Really making sure that there's, if you think about the one thing every single religion agrees on is right to food. Everyone is in agreement. There's no controversy over that. We need to feed people. Everyone deserves the right to eat and I think that that's where kind of that food bank affordability stuff overlaps with the community side as well. And then my last pillar about safety, this one I'm really passionate about. I think that Toronto feels less safe than it has before. Yes. And now that's not always necessarily reflected in the crime statistics, which are actually, trending downward in most violent crimes.
Say, but we know otherwise, right?
And that's exactly it. If people don't feel that way, so it's almost a moot point, whatever the stats are, and I think the police services have been good about reinforcing that. So what do we do? And I think for me, because this is a direct, accountability and responsibility for City Council is the emergency services, whether it's fire, 211, paramedics, police, it's all falls under council at the city municipal level. So for me, it's really focusing on how do we allocate those resources correctly and matching the needs of people, and how are we matching the right services with the right issues. So, police are needed for the most violent crimes. You're talking, the awful thing that happened in Salsa and St. Clair, mass shootings, you're talking, like trafficking victims, you're talking identity theft, like really complex crimes, complex violent criminal offenses. We need police resources that are able to tackle these things. But then you also have other issues that, maybe, mental health and community issues need different services to support them. You need, we need to be able to approach the emergency services in allocating their resources according to the actual issues themselves. And then I also think people kind of can get disconnected from safety of literally just like snow, flood clearing, air quality. I have that under my safety pillar because it is a safety risk. And, I went to Toronto Climate Week and they just talk about how, we experienced it earlier this year, those orange skies and the wildfires. Like, Toronto is getting more and more impacted by these natural, disasters, if you will. And we need to make sure that as a city, we are putting funding towards that. And lastly, under my safety pillar is really that intermodal harmony, if you will. So that's where I talk a lot about transit. I'm a lifelong transit user. I've never had a car. I'm also a lifelong tenant. I've never owned property. And I think that's a very unique perspective and also a pretty classic Toronto experience of, I have friends who it's like, they still can't drive, they're 35. Like,
so you weren't born with spoon.
Yeah, no,
more
definitely
like plastic
not.
Recycled.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, an emphasis on how do we get the best transit we can in the city, how do we make sure there is that kind of harmony with vehicles on the road and the congestion we experience, how do we make sure cyclists are safe, how do we make sure that we have proper pedestrian safety and pedestrianized zones, and how do we make sure all of those things are meshing together, because everyone gets around the city in a different way, and we need to make sure that we're leveraging those public spaces equitably.
I like how you put in your campaign about work with 3 levels of government.
Yes.
You know what? A lot of candidates will not touch that. You know why? Because I did my campaign. I got attacked for that. Oh. I wanted to do rent reduction. Oh, you're a communist. You're this.
Oh, yeah.
But you put that in your platform, which I think all candidates should do. Just because you're a councillor doesn't mean you're limited. You can approach, right?
Well, so what I think is very unique about me as a candidate in Ward 4 in particular is I have no party affiliations, nor am I affiliated with the current councillor. So I'm truly that like blank slate candidate, no alternative things that I'm accountable to other than, my constituents and myself. And that's where the intergovernmental piece comes in for the 3 pillars, because it's truly like the how and why, or the how behind all of these things is we know that the municipality is a creature of the province. We see this time and time again that the current provincial government is exercising that right quite frequently. And I'm actually meeting with a constitutional lawyer in the coming week about what tools are at our disposal to be able to give the municipality more autonomy. But regardless of that, I expect the trustee, the councillor, the MPP, and the MP to just work as a team. Like, we all have different jurisdictions that we're responsible for, but so many of them overlap so closely. You talk about housing, you talk about employment, you talk about all these things, like they're interwoven in all 3 levels, health, etc. And so it doesn't matter what party you are.
No. We
also have the same 100,000 constituents. So regardless of what your background is, we are fighting for the same people to make those people's lives better. And so to me, it's kind of a requirement of this job is to have that collaboration at the ward level, because I think right now it's most successful at kind of like that broader like mayor, premier, prime minister kind of level, but we need it way more locally as well, especially in a city as big as Toronto. Like 100,000 constituents is the equivalent, if you look nationally, of the 51st most populated city in the entire country is the equivalent of Ward 4 Parkdale High Park. So, you know, you need to kind of think like with that perspective.
I think it's in your other platform, but the only one to talk about, but this one you mentioned, you mentioned about the police in different wards, community more advocacy.
So what I was chatting about the emergency services?
No, about the police interacting with the community.
Oh yeah.
That should be in every ward, not just one.
Oh yeah. You're talking about.
I read that part. I Because I agree with that. I talked to a lot of people about that. You know, it can't just be just one police board. It should be every ward should have maybe a mini police board, a community advocates like yourself, work with the community. The best way to fight crime is in your community. You know.
Yeah, we need. I do think definitely an important part of how
we need more. Yeah, sorry.
No.
So let's go into your 4 now.
To my what, sir?
You had your 3 values.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we want to go into your 4. 4, right? 4.
Yeah. Intergovernmental relations is that 4th one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go into. You had 3 values. What you talking about?
Yeah. So the 3 values were affordability, community, and safety. And then the 4th one is that how piece of the intergovernmental relations. So that MPP, city councilor, and MP connection.
So the topic I want to talk to you about, we talked about before camera, with your permission, is you're working on a documentary.
I am working on a documentary.
And what's it called?
It's called Doorway Sleeper.
And?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story. So from the time I was about 10 years old, 11 years old, my dad actually experienced homelessness on the streets of Toronto and for a decade of my life. So when I was 14, we saw the harshest of the realities of living on the streets, and he actually lost his legs to frostbite and gangrene. And that loss of limbs, like, it is a serious issue that, again, is like not always talked about. And he had mental health and addiction issues, and there was, it was all sorts of hardship we went throughout my life. But it wasn't until his funeral, when I was about 22, when, because he passed away a decade ago, that this photo came up at his funeral. And it was a photo actually before he lost his legs, but it was just, you look at this photo, it looks like almost like a stereotypical vision you would have of a homeless, unhoused person. And except it's my dad. And my uncle had been just following this very popular blog in Toronto at the time called Daily Dose of Imagery. And it was just this person, Sam Javenrow, who was just taking a photo every day for a decade of an image of Toronto to send to his family back home in Iran, and just to help them understand, like, what's it like living in Toronto. And he had been very shocked about the homelessness crisis.
I think he did an exhibit about that, right?
Yes.
Yes, about the homeless?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I think he did it at City Hall, I can't remember, but I saw that.
Yeah, I've done it.
It was amazing, yeah.
Yeah, a few things with it.
I think it was a lot of it was black and white, I believe.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Just remind me, I remember seeing that, so this is amazing, this is our Toronto.
Exactly, yeah.
And these are people.
Exactly. So the intention with the documentary is in part to tell his story and that perspective of the family behind the person experiencing homelessness. Just to, I think people really get disconnected from the humanization of folks in these positions.
Does your documentary talk about how your dad became homeless?
Yeah, that's what we're planning to work towards. Because there was a moment in time he was a business owner, house owner, father of 3, charismatic, smart, lovely guy, and once he got on the wrong path, it really spiraled out of control very quickly. So again, it truly can happen to anybody, and we're also really just looking at the system of homelessness from that like broader lens of what can we do. You see examples like Finland in these communities where we have been able to like nearly eradicate homelessness.
I think it was Finland reduced their homeless to 5%.
Yeah, something like that. That's something along those stats, and it's that's capable in Toronto. Like homelessness, food insecurity, all these things are just simply policy failures. Mm-hmm. It's not a lack of housing. Well, sorry. We obviously do have a housing crisis, to be clear, but I just mean it is a broad, complex, systemic problem that results in somebody being unhoused or somebody needing to access food banks. It's not just, the crap people say about someone's lazy, someone's like just tired enough.
Get a job, some politicians say you need to get a job, get off the streets.
It's just
it makes me laugh when I hear that.
It's just a fundamental lack of understanding.
I'm not going to say the councillor, because that's my councillor. He did during the last election. because most people in stories have mental problems. I just lost it. I did a video about it, right? You know what? You had know what you're talking about.
Well, and that's the thing.
So,
There's so
that's
much
so
bias
yeah, it
and
is so, for a
lack
council
of
to say that,
understanding.
like in that position, to make that kind of a remark and that seat, you shouldn't hold that seat.
Well, and that's why I think it's so important to have folks with lived experience in a lot of different spaces and worlds, and that's why I think that the position I bring of, you know, the work I've done with EngiQueers, the sustainability work I've done, and the documentary is I have that deep understanding of like that advocacy activism space. But I think pairing that and balancing it with the work I've done in the professional world or the private world of that corporate global manufacturing operations, being a professional engineer, being an engineering manager for 10 years really helps me kind of understand both worlds. And I often joke, I understand the Parkdale and I understand the High Park. Like this ward covers such a range of different people in different circumstances. And I feel like I bring a really strong balance and understanding to both.
When is your book gonna be finished?
My book?
Yeah.
Which book? I have a
The
few
one
of
right
them.
now we're talking about. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's this one right about your dad?
The documentary. Yeah. So we're just in the process of. I'm working with a company called Bonfire Originals, another Toronto-based company. I played soccer with Graham, the director.
Okay, good.
So we're in the stage of development where we're accessing funding right now. So hopefully we'll be on the TIFF red carpet in the next few years.
You need funding for books, yeah, big time.
For the documentary, yeah.
Oh, is it gonna be a video and all?
Yeah, so the Doorway Sleeper is a documentary.
Oh, I thought it was a book. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, it's a visual. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And how long will it be? What do you think? 2 hours or whatever? Or?
Yeah, I think the goal is an hour and a half, 2 hours. Just standard feature length doc. Yeah.
That's good. You should put it in the what do you call it, the awards for the Canada Homegrown Movies. They call it.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple of the. Yeah, you should.
And hot docs. I know there's all sorts of.
A homegrown movie, big time. I think
Bonfires managing all of that.
I think it would do good. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Just thought about that. So I was going to go back to when you started EngiQueer.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was reading that, I was thinking, you know, with her abilities and your outreach, I'm going to ask you a question off topic here.
Sure.
You ever thought of doing that in schools, presenting yourself and what you've done to people in schools that are going through a lot of, hiding in the closet and insecure and ridicule? We see it all the time to the day. You know, watching this video, maybe you'll see some young girl or guy or binary watching this. Mm-hmm. You know what? I relate with her. I'm going to talk to her.
So I have done many years of public speaking, and I do go into schools and conferences.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish. Put that on your platform.
Yeah. I've been doing that for a very long time.
And what's the feedback like?
It's always very positive. I think that, again, this representation is so important of having people who look like you and who you don't always see coming forward. So yeah, I take to social media quite often to make sure that I'm telling my story and putting myself out there. So
I love it about your candidates is like this particular election. You're showing you're not the perfect candidate all the time. I mean, not mean you're perfect. I mean, like we all have
we're all
issues.
just people.
We all have issues. We're real people.
Yeah.
I've talked to candidates with mental issues, gun violence.
Yeah.
Never talked in any election the last 2 years, and has been like food security. Never talked about it. After it's over, they talk about it. You know, like it's just ridiculous. But so let's go into anything else to add before I go into volunteer work?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, we'll into your volunteer work now.
Yeah, the volunteer work. So
don't miss anything out now. Got my checklist.
Yeah, well, so EngiQueers for the whole 13 years I've worked there
that's great.
It's been non-paid. So
do you have your own logo for the thing? Did you make your own logo
for EngiQueers? Yeah, I didn't personally make it, but we had a graphic designer make it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So volunteer work I've done. So in the ward, I connected with the Parkdale Community Food Bank. Yeah, we actually have one of their bins right over there.
I was going to have a bin here
in my office. We have like a perpetual food drive.
How long were you there for? Are you still there?
Yes. Well, so I told them like I needed to take some time off during the campaign, but like pivoting for me from a financial contributor to being frontline in the food banks was really instrumental in my journey. Because again, like you hear these stats, but when you go in person and you really you're handing out food for 2 hours straight and collecting their tickets and just seeing, it's like
you feel like you want to do more? Like
yeah,
when you see that? Like
100%.
With your background and all that?
Yeah. Exactly. And
Does it get frustrating? I wish I could do more. I want to get in the council seat. I want to get there and do.
Oh yeah, that was 100% the driving factor. Yeah.
That's great.
And I think always the spirit of giving back. Like blood donations and, constantly just trying to support these different like advocacy and outreach, types of initiatives, and really just constantly connecting with the community, doing, like lately I've been doing a lot of deputations at City Hall.
I saw the last one got turned down apparently with Swan State.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, and it's in your platform too about that frustration that just what you said.
Community consultation.
Yeah, and you know what, I find it appalling, we vote them in, we're deputations and it just goes in 1 hour of the year. It is, I've seen it many times.
I have been really disappointed in the concept of the process. Like, look, I was a product development engineer for years. I understand there's a fundamental design process, and the concept of design lock or design freeze means you're too far along to make changes.
Yes.
The money's all sorted, the plans are drawn up. It would be a tens of $1,000s decision to make a change at the wrong time. Yes. I understand that. Then don't ask people for their feedback at that moment.
Exactly.
That is, it's very fundamental. And again, you see it in different industries as well. You just make sure you talk to people earlier at the right moment when you can make change. Yeah. So, it was very painful to watch 25, 40 people. And the thing that also really frustrates me is so much happens in the middle of the day. It'll be like a Thursday at 1 p.m. People are they're putting their kids in daycare, they're or getting a babysitter, they're taking time off work, they're coming to City Hall, they're deputing.
You're right, exactly.
And these people they're changing the sentences.
And they're not getting paid.
They're not getting paid. They're literally like nitpicking the words they're saying.
Yeah.
And the decision's made before they've walked in the door. It's like, what is this circus we're putting on here? Like, what? I just actually don't understand.
There's an English fellow that comes to the beginning. I know I don't forget his name, but he'll sit there at the beginning and, I don't know why you're wasting our time. He's got to be thinking, you already made your decision.
The decision's
and
already
he says it all the time. What also frustrates me about that is when you go through deputations, I've been few not being involved, because I don't want to get involved, I get mad, is we're taking time off. I'm taking time off work to sit there. I want you to listen to me. Don't be socializing. Don't be going to the bathroom. Don't be talking about yourselves, You
need to be focusing.
And it's just, I think it's insulting. You're getting paid for that seat. We're not.
Yeah. I think that, to me, I read it as a failing of the process. Like, the process needs to be looked at.
You get voted in, what will you do to change that?
Again, to me, it's about the timing of when the consultations happen. It's about the proper collaborations. And to me, it's also like, make amendments. Yeah. If 20 people show up with issues, and people can get very black and white, like, oh, it's NIMBYism, don't listen to them. Well, actually, maybe their commentary about where the garbage is picked up is important.
People are going to make deputations. You have to list out there 30 people. Why are you already making your decisions?
Yeah.
Then you say it's too far. We're going to have money spent. If we do that, we're going to change it. Well, why don't you wait for the people to say something?
Yeah, exactly. Right? So, and again, I think that intergovernmental piece is the collaboration with the province and the federal government, because these things are not always as simple as just being municipal, and that's where I think, you've got the Ontario Land Tribunal, you have all these different layers to consider.
Can we get rid of them?
I don't think I have that power.
That's my pet peeve.
But
well, it's another thing. We'll talk about that just shortly. About you just said, councillor gets voted in by the people. They make decisions. Who has the final say? They do. In so many aspects, right?
Well, yeah, the municipality is a creature of the province, yeah.
It's kind of like an oxymoron. Why get people voted in? Why do you vote the council? They're not making decisions. It's like the mayor power. That's another thing I don't agree with. Mayor powers, unless it's emergency. Like, it's
I think
like, if people's lives
you're
are
talking about something like COVID, or
Yeah.
to me, the concept of the strong mayor powers, or like the spirit of the strong mayor powers, is like an extremely unique situation.
Because if you can make
where maybe you need specifically like the process to be compressed in a way that's like simply like, if you were to follow all the steps, it would take a month and a half, but the mayor can do it in 3 days.
Yeah.
In a situation like COVID, something extreme.
But you keep using the mayor power.
It shouldn't be for like an everyday. No, of course.
Why was it here in the first place?
It would be anti-democratic to
it's
do
very,
these things, of course.
I don't agree with that.
But I do think that, again, the spirit of it, I've always interpreted, and I think most of the mayors also interpret it as some like asterisk scenario, some like, a statistical anomaly, like something like that.
Yeah. Can you volunteer?
So I mean, volunteering has always been foundational to my life. I've even since I was a kid, like working I volunteered at the TDSB as a I keep joking. This is my first time running for city council, but I've been running for council since I was 11 years old.
And you took 2 courses before you decided to put your name in, right?
Yeah, the local politics and homelessness.
Yeah, and what's the other one? Homelessness, yeah.
Homelessness, yeah, those were the 2
So
courses.
what made you take 2 courses? Like, I could just put the name for council. I'm going to council.
Yeah.
You went and studied before you put your name in.
Exactly.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, I think as an engineer, like, I really value the concept of technical knowledge, quote unquote, and so I was candidly actually considering doing my master's in public policy, but my skill set and where I naturally fall is in that leadership front of house position. It's where I was most successful with EngiQueers. It's where, like, I'm a very lead from the front kind of person, and I'm not the person who's going to be as successful behind the scenes diving into the details. So an MPP just didn't feel like the right path for me.
Not yet.
But I wanted to make sure I did gain some of that technical knowledge, or expand that technical knowledge. And that's why I was grateful that TMU had this continuous ed courses at the Chang School of Continuous Education, because another fundamental part of being an engineer is being a lifelong learner, being committed to the service of others, and the oath to bettering the public. And this local politics course and this homelessness course, it really just helped me deep dive. Like, when you're a professional for a decade, like, you're not doing a 21-page typed out paper on the root causes of homelessness and risk factors. You're not sitting in a budget council meeting for 12 hours and really deeply scrutinizing.
Did you change that when you in council? Change that 12 hours sitting in council? It's so bad.
One thing I think is really
important. You're missing your
is,
families and all that, but can't you just do the next two?
Well, one thing I think that's really important is how we communicate these things to the public.
Exactly,
I think a lot of, you go to YouTube right now to be like, oh, what happened in the council meeting? It's just raw 8-hour footage. There's no, like, summary reel, or, like, we're not accessing modern day technology.
I put mine when I have my afternoon naps. I put it on to put it to sleep sometimes.
Nice.
And there are a lot of them. I'm not being insulted, but a lot of it's wasted talk. Seriously.
Yeah, there's
Like,
definitely the efficiency
just
could
move
always
on.
be.
There should be limits to, like, conversation about garbage bag and eating poop and all that stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. So let's continue on. Wow, volunteer work. I think we've done a few things. Hey, do you want to give any plug outs? I know you have a few there. Your campaign guy there playing his game.
My volunteer.
Yeah. He's smiling there.
Yeah, no,
he's a good guy.
Yeah. So I've been very grateful for the volunteers who've been a part of my campaign. Tenzin 100% is my office manager. Got Jill, who's been
office. Speaking of that, let's talk about this office here. There's a video on your Instagram. I mean, you got the keys. Open the keys there.
Yes.
And I just came here. It's better in real life than the.
Thank you. Yeah.
You guys did an amazing job looking at this, like, this whole space here. And how many times? What was the time frame you get it done? Like, within a certain time frame?
Yeah, we got the keys July 16th, and the office opening was August 6th.
Yeah,
so in that
incredible.
time, there were about infinite spiders, and there was we did a lot of painting, cleaning. Every single piece of furniture here was a donation in kind.
Nice.
I
saw you painting the chairs outside there.
Yeah. These chairs were once red.
Is them dry? No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine? Yeah. Plot twist. Prank.
We were at a park bench one of the Canada debates outside the apartment, and it said it was so sticky.
Oh no.
It was funny. Like, sorry, go on.
No, you're good. So yeah, getting the office ready was a huge labor of love from the team, and our field director Francesca was the one who put together the launch party, and you wouldn't believe.
Oh, you want to give a shout out to plug into your real estate lady?
Yeah, Satvir Kaur. We love Satvir. She's incredible. Definitely go look her up for your real estate needs.
That was great.
Yeah, and
she found this place.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we looked at a bunch of places. Some that we found, she found, and this one definitely just, again, perfect location, like Queen and Roncy, and being near Parkdale, Little Tibet, and Roncesvalles itself, and High Park, Swansea.
A lot of little cafes here and all that stuff.
It's great.
I went to one earlier. I'll just plug into that one too.
Yeah.
Oyster Cafe.
Yeah.
Osprey.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question. I think you answered before. So, if somebody came to you and say, Vanessa, I want to get into politics or something, what would you advise them to do?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think one of the things that I think was almost shocking to me was we need a lot more resources to encourage people to run as actual candidates, because we need to see better representation in council of renters, of folks without cars, of young people, of exactly. And I think it's really important about highlighting people from different backgrounds and worlds. There cannot be a cookie cutter formula to become an elected official, or everyone is going to be the same, and then nothing is going to change. Like, we need people from different universes. And the great part about the municipal side is we need non-partisan people, in my opinion. That's theoretically the point of the municipal level, is for it to be non-partisan. And I think having the lack of party affiliation is a strong benefit municipally. But how people can get involved, I mean, like, there's always opportunities to volunteer just in a campaign itself. We do something called canvassing or door knocking, where, you know, we take like our pamphlets and they go over like the platform, who I am, whatever, and we go door to door and advocate for the type of Toronto that we're looking for. It's also it's things like everything we've been talking about, like it's EngiQueers, it's sustainability, it's whatever. Like, it's simply just getting involved in anything you care about. It's all political. Like, we're kidding ourselves to say it's not. Like, you're making a documentary on homelessness and that's not political. Like, of course it is. So so it's really just accepting that politics are everywhere, and then engaging within the system as much as possible.
I was going to ask you, during the Pride event, they have this tent set up. Have you ever thought of putting your EngiQueer tent set up for
so EngiQueers is at almost all of the national Pride events across the country. So we're in Toronto, Vancouver,
so you had
Montreal.
A tent set up during the Pride?
Yeah. For the last 10 years, we typically have a tent set up.
Yeah, but that's where I saw you. That's right.
Yeah, it could be, for sure.
Yeah, you went to an interview with me. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I know, that's true.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I remember you look familiar. Yeah, I remember doing I did some promotions there and all that.
Oh, great.
So let me ask you a question. I'm going to pick your brain. You've done a lot of volunteer work. So, do you remember the first time, or in between, somebody came and said, you know what, Vanessa, your inspiration, what you did for me, helped me a lot. I want to thank you. Do you remember that first time?
Yeah, I mean, some of the most impactful ones, definitely university with the EngiQueers space. Like, as I mentioned, in 2013, like, next to nobody was out. I think I had about 30 individual people come out to me as bi, gay, trans, queer of some kind, one-on-one, time and time again.
And what did it say to you?
Yeah, they would talk about how EngiQueers empowered them to recognize they're not alone, and recognize there's a space for them. And it was, these are like truly like life-changing things for these folks. So it's always like deeply, deeply touching to me.
So it feels great just hearing their
of course, yeah.
That,
it's why you do all these things, you know.
So you've done a few campaign events. You've had your campaign launch was August 9th?
So the launch party was August 6th.
Oh, sorry, August 6th?
Yeah.
We had about 100 people, show up for 100 people?
Yeah, so we had, something like 50 people at that event.
And how much did you raise?
So overall for the campaign, we've just surpassed 25,000. We're about, and also the way that the elections work is you have
I saw your chart there. It's a crazy amount of money you have to spend. But we need to change it, I think. We can do better than that, I think.
Yeah, well, you also have the donations in kind. So all in, we're about 30,000, and then I obviously have my personal contributions separately to that. So I keep saying, like, the office was, every dollar was donated by the community. Right. So being able to do that has been incredible. But yeah, we've been in interviews with CBC, City News, Toronto Today, a lot of local spaces.
We did a yoga event, did you?
Yeah, working with Soul Fuel. Yeah, I do yoga.
I do Tai Chi in the morning.
Oh, nice.
I do my 7 chakras.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
That's cool,
So it's been great, really reconnecting with the community. I formed a tenants association.
Yes, let's talk about that. So you missed that, That's a big one.
It is a big one. Wild situation happened.
How did you miss that? I'm still, we've been talking a lot.
The Tenants Association, they're, as a renter in 2026.
You formed that, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of really complex situations. Like, we had like an eviction notice, we had rent increases, we have maintenance issues, all these things, Airbnbs, the whole slew of classic issues tenants all over Toronto are facing. And as you said, like, I was the person to organize our group. I was the person to negotiate with the landlord for 2 hours of, trying to win the rent freeze.
You got a rent freeze.
We got a rent freeze, we won a rent freeze for the units that were targeted to begin with, and it's been really great building that community within the neighbors. And my neighbor Ed donated that desk over there, and people have the tenants have helped support the campaign. So it's been really impactful for sure. All these
have other tenant associates been looking at you, what you did, and all the rent fees and all that?
Yeah, I've been talking to some associations for sure, and constantly, like, you know, when we were forming the association, we connected a little bit with Acorn, FMTA, and Toronto Tenants Union. Those are kind of like the big three.
There's another one called Tatra.
They're
fairly new, but they're still getting more involved.
For sure, yeah. And these groups have like.
I think I sent you a link for that. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah, and
your campaign manager's calling me up there.
Oh, right.
They call you. You picked up one of your campaign manager.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, sorry. I was talking. I'll raise my voice now, but
yeah, no worries.
Really.
Yeah, no, it's been a great experience for sure.
So we have upcoming events, I believe.
Yeah, so what we've got coming up over the next little while, like we're, you know, like all the campaigns, we're very focused on canvassing. So we're canvassing 4 days a week right now and going up to, you know, every day of the week in September and October. So definitely come volunteer with us. We're also planning to host some more events here at the office. Okay. Really, it's like open door, basically 24/7, not 24/7, but we're here all the time. And you know, we
I usually like this, like in the end. Yeah. Come on in, please.
Yeah. So definitely want folks to come out, get involved, you know, learn more about the campaign, what we're doing, and yeah.
That's great. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I really appreciate you know, you taking the time, and it's always
well, you got so much on your platform. You can only do so much in debate, right? That's why I like doing
definitely.
this stuff.
Yeah,
remind in case you're like the tennis thing. Oh, the other thing we remember mention is policing. Forgot about that. Policing.
Yeah. What I mentioned about the emergency services. Yeah.
And police and all, and also the involvement and all. Do you think the police services should change better for the community? I mean,
I think what I was mentioning about the safety pillar was when we were chatting about that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, we got everything covered. What other hobbies do you do? Let's ask when you're not breathing campaign. What do you do for?
Yeah, what do I do in my spare
time? I know you grow flowers. So you got flowers.
Yeah, these plastic flowers are.
They're plastic.
Yeah, the real ones.
You mean there's artificial stuff in my summer in my interview? I like your shirts. You got lots of shirts and all. That's where the money goes, right? This is where all the money goes.
Yes,
it's not free. You know, these all cost money.
Yeah, literature, all the swag, 100%. Yeah, my hobbies are really. I mean, I love writing. I do a lot of.
You're right. I could tell. Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of writing. I honestly, I just love going out with my friends, spending a lot of time connecting with like the humans in my life and.
The humans? Like you say that?
Yeah, yeah. The folk like.
You mean there's animals too?
No, just
like animal bars you're gonna have.
Well, we call ourselves the sitcom. I have.
Oh, you do?
I have 4 households of like the closest friends in my entire life.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. Shout out to the sitcom. 4 households of the closest humans in my life are within a 10-minute walk of each other in Ward 4. So it's amazing. Like,
how does your family feel about you running for council? Did they say
my mom
nothing unexpected because you know what you're like, right?
Yeah, anyone in my life was not surprised.
Really? So what's your mom say about that?
Oh, my mom has been so supportive. She spoke at both launch parties, and she was a social worker at the City of Toronto for 3 decades.
Wow. That's nice. Wow.
Yeah, so
she watching her with her job, like my dad on Cherry Housing. Mm-hmm. So seeing him as a community advocate,
it's been a lifelong. QB 79 has been in my house for my entire life.
That's so good.
So everyone's been very supportive, and it's been.
Do you like doing any sports or anything else hobbies?
Over the years, done some soccer, volleyball, get in the gym sometimes. So Bloor Street Fitness is my gym, the big boxing gloves outside.
You're a boxer?
Well. No. But I do some classes and yoga, stuff
so it's either vote for me or get it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the slogan.
Get it with love, yeah. A glow of love, yeah. Well, anything else you want to add?
No, I really appreciate the thoroughness, and thank you for
the time.
Yeah.
So anyways, before we sign off, there was your campaign guy there playing with his phone. Before you
just doing emails, I promise.
Oh, you're doing emails. What are you doing over there? He's a good guy.
Always working.
That's good. He's always working for you. That's great. Yeah. So look at the camera and tell people why they should vote for you, Vanessa.
Yeah, well, I hope that I'll receive your vote for Ward 4 City Councillor Parkdale High Park. I am really passionate. This has been a lifelong goal of mine, and I'm here to really represent the constituents, really trying to build a Toronto that's more affordable, community-oriented, and safer. And I hope you'll dive into my platform and learn more about them.
Website?
Yeah, my website is just vanessaraponi.ca.
Great, thank you so much. Nice to meet
Thank you so much, Phil. It's great. Cheers.
And you.